Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Echoes of Malus. When last we left off, the party was interrogating Trader Nadim and his associate, Arwa, the strange woman. Lee used his magic to cast Charm Person on them, which has a timer remaining of 50 minutes before they realize what happened. After that, they all stepped out into the street and discussed their next steps. You all are standing in a dusty street in a tiny village with buildings made of red stone out in the middle of the desert.
Yes, we had discussed what we want to do is stay in a public, open place so that if Connor gets killed again, it will at least be in a different manner than last time.
He looks over like side-eyed, like, I hope I don't die again.
No, and none of us are hoping that for you, but again, we talked about this. If it's going to be anyone, you're the only one we know for a fact the day has reset for. So I'd rather not, take the risk.
How do we know that if I die, it doesn't just... I only hit one chance?
Listen, our sample size is 1, and that's all we got right now.
Them's good odds.
And staying in a very public place may make it less likely that Connor or any of us is killed again.
In his back of his mind, he's like, they're going to throw me down a pit of nails if they have to survive.
Ah, the classic pit of nails. The old pit of nails trick.
Spikes, lava, whatever you want to call it.
Where does everybody want to go?
Do you guys want to give me insight checks?
Yeah, sure.
That is a natural 1.
Okay.
That is a 5.
15.
I got a 9 plus 1, 10.
Altogether, 16.
I think Aila and Connor, you guys are thinking about the nature of who Trader Nadim is. This is a tradesman, not like a blood psychopath or anything. He is likely to be pissed at you, and you do know that he has people who are capable in a scrap in his employ. But the Traders Union of Nocturne, Traders Unions, would not be the respectable organizations that they are if they went around killing everyone who had a bad relationship with them. So, is he going to be socially belligerent with you? Most likely. Is he going to send a hit squad after you? Probably not.
Well, isn't magic also frowned upon? Isn't that I guess not here, right? It's just in the Malus Empire. It's heresy, basically.
Well, it depends on what type of magic, of course. You can probably put together the fact that those drums were not any sort of APOC tech, so Lee is probably doing Theaic magic. Here, it might be interesting, or remarkable even, but not something that is going to be controversial.
Okay. Well, I thought I'd bring it up.
And if Suha and Jafar seem to be very well, they seem to have, decent status in town. Maybe if we stay near them, then people are not going to think as poorly of us or be as concerned about us if we're hanging out with them.
Shall we?
Sure.
And if I'm wrong and we have tomorrow, we'll do something different.
All right, so you guys heading over to the festival stage?
Yes.
Okay. So you all walk to the side of town where the platform is being erected. An unfinished stage about 20 feet across and 15 feet in depth rests not even 20 feet from the burbling spring. It is totally drenched. A crew of locals, all gray-haired, assemble the stage. The sounds of hammer on nail establish an unsteady rhythm. Others gather water from the spring in large barrels and roll them over to a nearby storage building where the water can cool. You all see Suha and Jafar working on the stage and directing a few of the others around. On the opposite side of this clearing, leaning against the building where the water is being stored, are 2 women in full plate armor. One stands there, flicking a small metal cylinder in her hand around. The other is a giant woman. Not giant, literally, but very large. about 6'5", massive muscles, and resting on the building next to her, an axe about the size of Lee.
So guys, just remember, we haven't met them yet.
You know, it occurs to me this is a good time to figure out if the larger woman was interested in Connor or in Ruby.
Good point. So Connor should go over there and start flirting with her?
Yeah. Connor, how we feeling?
He shakes his head no.
Get in there, big guy.
Oh, trust me. You'll be fine. Can I pat him on the shoulder and give him bardic inspiration?
I grab him by the other shoulder and start pushing him that way.
Connor, what are you doing?
You've got a bardic.
He's getting pushed forward, his heels are in the ground, just getting slid across.
You're doing that thing where like your heels are dug into the ground, but because it's sand, you're just getting pushed.
So who's going to introduce him? You know, our little friend who wants to meet her.
You look like a pair of fine traders. I would like to introduce my friend to you, Connor. I am Kato. We're new around here, and you seem to be new as well.
The two of them look at each other amused. I don't think that they were expecting to get hit on while they were doing this job. And that gives you a moment to take a peek at what Aaliyah has in her hand. Kato, Connor, you're the two who walked up, so give me perception checks. We're going to call this a DC 15.
Connor, you do have a bardic. If you need to burn it this early, you can.
Meets it, beats it.
I'm not going to use it, because I rolled a 2.
What about that bardic, though? Will a D6 get you there?
Yeah, add a 1 to that, too.
So you see as you noted before, it's a small metal cylinder. Fits in the palm of her hand. Well, maybe not the palm. It fits in her hand. And there is a toggle about halfway up the shaft and an opening on one end. It bears the wavy pattern of chromatic steel.
You've said erected and shaft in the last 5 minutes.
As soon as you said erected, I looked at the cameras to see if Drake was doing anything. I was like, if he cracks up, I'm allowed to crack up.
I was sitting here looking between the two of you to see what was going on, and I'm like, straight face. I'm straight face. I can
We
handle
were all
this.
very professional, but you can't
I'm
ask
an
for more than
adult.
one.
Yeah.
And then Kato, you're the only one who succeeded. She does notice that you are eyeing it and puts it in her pouch. But you've already seen everything. Give me, Kato only, a DC 20 Arcana check.
Oh boy.
You know it's APOC tech based off of its design. But what is it?
I don't know. It is a 3.
Please be a lightsaber.
It is a 3.
But I do sort of focus at it and commit it to memory so I can describe it to somebody.
Okay. Yeah, you're not able to figure out what it is in this moment, at least. Aaliyah and Azza look at each other amused. Aaliyah speaks up and says, just hanging out. You all are new in town too, from what I hear. What brings you here?
We're just exploring the festivities. We're interested in seeing the traditions of this town. What about y'all? Are you here for the festival?
Yeah, here to watch.
Just watch, not participate?
Oh, I mean, they don't do anything until sundown anyway, so I don't know, Azza, we might get involved, right?
I look sideways at Connor and back, and I said, well, this is my friend Connor. Connor, why don't you introduce yourself?
He just kind of like waves. Hi.
You wave, and Azza does that little like nod up at you and says, "Sup?"
Hi. How you doing?
Doing all right. Kind of hot today.
Yes.
It is a desert.
What are your names? It was very rude of me. I didn't catch your names.
I'm Azza. Nice to meet you. And this here is Aaliyah.
You have a very big axe.
She glances over it, looks back at you. She's gonna make an insight check to see if this is a double entendre, however you pronounce it.
Does it matter that I got a 17 on deception?
Sure. Because she got a 15 on her insight.
Wait, are you trying to say that it's not a double entendre?
I don't know. Am I?
Yeah, which way do we want the deception to go?
I think she remains unsure whether this was a double entendre, and she's like, thank you. Her name's Abigail.
Nice. A lot of A names around here. Well, Connor, I'll leave you to it. I walk away.
So, Connor, what's your friend's deal?
He's shy.
Oh, okay. But he was the first one to... It looked like he was pushing you over here, so...
Yes.
I turn back to the town square, and I believe Suha and Jafar were asking us to like help them with stuff. Where are there obvious ways? Are there obvious things for us to do and help out with?
It's a construction project, so you probably don't want to just jump in without asking first.
Are they here, Suha or Jafar?
Yeah, they're both at the festival stage, building shit and telling other people what to do.
Okay, I beeline for them to ask them how we can help.
Okay.
Somebody want to keep an eye on
He's
Connor?
fine. He's the most immortal of all of us, so
Allegedly.
allegedly.
In theory.
What better way to test that theory? I do keep a close eye on Connor though as I walk away.
Okay, I'm going to go talk to Suha and see what I can do to help her.
Yeah, you guys are not far from Connor. It's like you're across the yard from him, so... You guys walk up to Suha. She says, "Hey, there you guys are. What can I do for you?"
You said you needed help, potentially? What can we help with?
Yeah, we could absolutely take some more able hands. If you guys want to start working on the stage with us, then that would be really nice.
Yeah, just tell us what to do.
Sure. If you guys want to help with the festival stage, it will ingratiate you guys more to the town populace. So it's more of like if you do that, it will be a time skip.
I see. As I'm sort of starting in on work with Suha, I say, "Oh, we talked to Trader Nadim, by the way."
Oh, how did it go?
He was dodgy about the debts, and he seemed to think that you owed him the money, and he is just needing to take it back. What's your perspective?
Well, he did have us sign those contracts, but the way that he explained it, it didn't sound like we were going to owe him anything afterward.
What if I hear there are offerings for this festival? What if they try to interfere with the money that you give?
That is what I am afraid of as well, especially with those two tough-looking women over there.
Maybe we can stick around and keep an eye on it?
It would be much appreciated. She looks back at the spring. Don't think that we can afford not to make this offering.
What would happen if you don't?
The last time that happened was, I don't know exactly, but at least over 100 years ago, maybe 2. And she begins to tell you the story of Rahim again. And when the spring dried and Rahim's son died, and how they now believe that led to the spirit the klerik who now inhabits the spring, Tiflin Min Altim.
I act like I'm super engaged, like the first time I'm hearing it, but then I kind of gradually walk away to check in with the rest of the group.
I feel like we're kind of lost and not really sure what to do. I think that whole time loop thing kind of really threw us. We've got to get out of here, but also we're afraid to, make the wrong decision and one of us accidentally dies and doesn't come back.
Go ahead and give me an insight check.
16 on the insight.
I don't think that you come to any special awareness or deep insight of the situation or anything, but you're definitely feeling the jitters of a village in conflict, basically. Whatever happens tonight is going to affect people. So everyone is definitely on edge.
Yeah, my gut feeling is that we're just on the verge of something everywhere I look. We're on, this village is on the verge of what a lot of people think is a big celebration. What we know is likely going to be, or could very well result in disaster if Nadim follows through and steals this offering to the spirit. I feel like the wrong thing happens or gets said, and Lee is just going to throttle Lynn.
So, Aila, as you're standing there taking all of this in, a breeze rolls into this little pavilion, and despite the desert heat, you feel a cold chill. You have no idea whether you get another shot at this or not. You need to definitely figure out what's going to happen with this festival tonight. It might be important that you get it right the first time. Connor, you've been standing here, risen up the ladies. Why don't you give me a flat charisma check? Let's just see how you're doing.
Let me see.
Can I request you have him make an insight check
Sure.
as well?
Can he make a Riz check?
Yeah.
Risk check.
Yeah, so a charisma check and an insight check.
I have a 19 for the charisma check, but then it's -1 because my charisma sucks.
Let's go. That's my
Wow.
guy right there.
Great roll.
What's the other roll for?
Insight.
Insight 15 plus 2, 17.
Connor, you have hit the slipstream. You are chatting them up, and Azza, more than Aaliyah, is eating it up.
He's very confused internally. He's like, why is this working?
You don't know. You don't know why it's working, but it's working.
She likes the feathers.
Yeah, she is playing with her hair and doing all the things. So you just kind of stand there and chat them up the whole time while everyone else is working on the stage. After about 45 minutes have passed, a kid walks up and tugs on Aaliyah's jacket. She leans over, he whispers in her ear, and Aaliyah looks at you, looks at Lee, looks at Azza, beckons Azza to come down, whispers in Azza's ear, and then the two of them begin to walk off, and Azza looks kind of hurt. They leave this festival area.
Kind of gives him like a wave and a wink.
Give me one more insight check.
Give her your number.
10.
10. It's mixed signals, man.
The signals.
Yeah. So, anything you guys want to do before we do the time jump?
Ayla's been standing here just watching all this, just getting more and more uneasy. I'm going to go over and pull Lee and Kato together and say, guys, this is a test. I'm sure it's a test. I think we've got to figure out what to do, and it's related to this festival. This is where we're supposed to be. I know in my gut this is where we're supposed to be.
We haven't looked at the spring yet.
Gonna want to give me a perception check?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'll say I'm walking over and
You're not far from the spring. You're pretty dang close to it.
Can I go ahead and give Beth and Kato my last two bardics?
damn, bro, you burning those bardics.
What else am I going to use them?
That is a dirty 22.
So, Kato, you walk over to the spring, kind of survey it. It's a spring, nothing super fancy. What's actually interesting is what you don't notice. You can see the bottom of the spring from where you stand. It's a hot spring, so you feel the heat rushing over your face. The only time the water is cool is after it's turned into mist and sprays across your face. You would expect, based on what they've said, to see the glitter of generations of gold and silver and copper, most likely, tossed into the bottom of this spring. But it's not there.
How big is this spring? Like, as someone who has probably never seen a spring, what does it look like?
I mean, it's a pool of water, and occasionally it turns into a geyser and mists the area.
I see.
You don't think that there's any deeper meaning to be gained from this?
Bardic Inspiration lasts 10 minutes.
Okay. There's an opening, right? Like, I can't see the entire spring. It goes off into the mountain or into the desert or something.
You're not gonna learn anything interesting from examining the spring any further.
Okay. Yeah, guys, it's just a pool of water. It's interesting that the gold is not there. None of the offerings seem to be sitting within the spring, so either a cleric comes by and takes the offering, or more? You said the two ladies, they left, right?
Yep.
Did we see like what direction they were going in or anything like that?
They were most likely heading back to Nadim's.
Okay.
That's really the only other place for them to go in town.
Okay. And the sun is the sun is setting now, right? It's becoming evening.
The festival stage is getting finished up. People are starting to gather and taking seats on blankets on the ground, and the sun is beginning to set and casts red, pink, purple, and gold rays across the horizon. And Aaliyah, Azza, and Arwa return. And they again stand next to the water storage building.
Lee would like to check in with Jafar and Suha and see if they would be opposed to like musical accompaniment to this event. He doesn't know kind of what the deal is or if there's a score to follow, but he doesn't want to step on anybody's toes.
Oh, well, I am going to sing. So if you want to, it's just a basic rhythm. 4/4. Don't need to do anything flashy. If you want to accompany me, that would be great.
I'd love to. This is all very interesting, just to see a celebration of a cleric.
Yeah. Anything else that you guys want to do last minute, right before the festival begins?
I mean, I'd like to be. I'm not feeling great about the Nadim posse's presence. So I would like to, if there were like chairs or a crowd or something, I would like to be somewhat near them in the crowd. Keep an eye on them.
Yes. They're definitely hanging out in the back.
Okay.
The crowd, they're not in the crowd at all. I guess I should say they are separate from the crowd, leaning against a building.
Right.
There aren't chairs. There's blankets that people are sitting on. So are you meaning like you want to sit in the back, or
I would
what do
surreptitiously
you want?
like to watch them as close as possible without being too suspicious. So I'm not on the complete outside of the crowd, but I am a couple rows in, like as close as I can be on the side of the crowd towards them.
Okay. Anyone else? Are you guys joining Kato?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Lee, I think that you're probably, if you're accompanying, you're going to be on the stage, right?
Yeah, I figure I can sit in like a back corner or something. I'm not trying to like take the show over.
The people are finally taking their seats. Suha is walking up to the stage. Lee, she nods to you. It's time.
He starts playing just a very simple beat, just some ups and downs.
Yeah, so after she nods, you walk up to the stage, take your place in the corner, not too distracting, and begin playing your music. Suha makes a little speech. She says, "Thank you all for joining us once again. We gather in honor of our patron, the cleric, Tiflin Min Altim. As you all know, 200 years ago, the founder of this village, a man named Rahim, had a son. And when this spring ran dry, the village suffered, and Rahim's son died. Ever since then, we've gathered and given a donation to the spring in honor of Tiflamin Altin, the spiritual representative of Rahim's son. As the basket gets passed by you, we ask that you please give what you can, and as you do that, I'm going to sing for the boy." Lee, you begin tapping out a little soft pitter-patter, even rhythm. Like I said, you're not doing anything fancy. Give me a performance check, DC 10.
A 12 plus 5, 17.
You perfectly cue Suha to join in, and she sings a song. It's almost mournful in nature, but beautiful, and it echoes around this little pavilion, only ever interrupted by the sounds of clinking change as they're dropped into the basket, and the regular gushing of the geyser as it sprays water across you all. She winds her song to a close, and as she does, the the baskets are placed on the foot of the stage. She turns and condenses them all into one basket, but before she turns back, Aaliyah's voice rings out through the clearing. "I'll take that." She strides up to the stage. As the people of Al-Khair Yanabee agreed, a debt is owed to the House of Philia Trading Company. She places her hand on the offering basket. "On behalf of Trader Nadim, this collection shall be garnished, and as such, this shall be considered payment in full for services rendered." Kato, you have spent the past few months familiarizing yourself with Nocturnian law. Immediately, you recognize this seizure was not actually performed legally. There are specific avenues for seizure of contracted payments. Hiring a few traders to just do it for you is not one of those ways. But I want you to give me a DC 15 insight check.
Can I use the Bardic from earlier?
You're free to, yeah.
I'm not going to make it up high enough. So I'm not going to bother.
You have no further insight.
Can I stand up?
As you stand, you hear Suha say, "This offering is for Tiflin Ben Altin, without whose blessing we will all surely perish."
I say, under Nocturnian law, seizure of funds must be through legal avenues, and this is not one of them. Regardless of whether or not the people of this fine village owe you money, there must be a better way to get it than forsaking their patron cleric.
Aaliyah turns to you, her brow furrowed. "Perhaps that might be true, but I'll ask you this. With us being hundreds of miles away from the nearest judge, however would this be claimed legally?"
That's not my problem.
"Well, this is my problem, so I'll ask that you please kindly stand down." Suha, the basket.
I walk up onto the stage. I look at my friends sitting on the ground as well as I walk
Oh,
up.
yeah.
And I hold their
I
eyes.
stand up also.
He stands up. He's like, "I'm gonna die today, but I guess it's okay."
Suha is clutching the basket to her chest and says, "No, I will not." And Aaliyah raises her hand as if to strike her. And Suha suddenly freezes. You hear Arwa shout from the back of the clearing, "I'm tired of all of this!" Suha is stone still.
Is Aila frozen, or is she still going to strike Suha?
You look over at Aaliyah, and she is not frozen, but her face is still. Do you want to give me an insight check right quick?
Sure.
Can I make this as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
I'm gonna use that Bardic.
Go for it, man. I got an 11.
17.
18.
You gather from Aaliyah's face that this was not the way that this was supposed to go. She shakes it off and reaches forward to grab the basket out of Suha's hands. Suha is still stone still.
Is the basket frozen in her hand?
No. Aaliyah is able to move Suha enough to take the basket from her, but Suha does not respond.
Well, what is Arwa doing?
Arwa is standing at the back of the clearing, panting, her hair cast over her face. Lee, you wanted to make an Arcana check? Go ahead.
Yeah, that totally, that reeks of magic. God damn, I got a 5 + 4, 9. I can't roll.
Yeah, it's magic.
It's magic, that's much is certain.
Aaliyah is currently taking the basket out of Suha's hands.
Yeah, I'm physically putting myself between them.
Don't. She places a hand on her sword.
By my math, you're the one that's outnumbered, and I'm the one that's following the law.
By my math, she reaches a hand into her bag and pulls it out and points it at you. You fucked up. Everyone roll initiative.
Yeah. Here we go. That's what we're talking
By my
about.
math, you fucked up.
By my math, you're a stupid motherfucker. I got an 18 on initiative.
Kato got a 1.
Oh,
2 minus 1 is 1.
brother.
As I'm getting shot.
9.
I had a 6.
What's your dex mod?
2.
All right, Lee, you're the first to move. You are standing on the far end of the stage. Kato and Aaliyah are standing at the foot of the stage. At the back of the crowd, Connor and Aila are still standing. And then far end of the clearing, about 60 feet from where you are personally, Arwa and Azza are standing next to the water storage building. What are you doing?
I'm gonna try to move to stop Aaliyah before she hits Kato.
Okay.
And not like stop her, but do something.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna bump up to her, pull out the catalyst, and just kind of put it to her armor and cast Frostbite, which is one action. It's instantaneous, and she's gonna have to make a Constitution saving throw. I got a 16 to hit.
She deftly sidesteps you.
Oh, that's not good. Ooh. Not a lot else I can do there, I don't think. I'm gonna go ahead and give Kato my last bardic.
All right, Aila, you're standing at the back of the crowd. You've got Aaliyah, Lee, and Kato in front of you. You've got Azza and Arwa behind you. You've got Connor beside you. What are you doing?
I'm going to step where I know I'm between Aaliyah and Azza and Arwa and move toward Aaliyah.
Okay, you're moving to the stage.
I think I want to attack Aaliyah.
Okay.
So I want to go up to her and make an unarmed strike against her.
Okay, make your attack.
Oh, that's a nat one.
Nat 1.
Damn.
Yeah, as you run up to strike her, you are not going to get quite in range, you realize, before she moves. Anything else on your turn?
Nope.
Okay. Connor, Aila has just ran off to the front stage, leaving you alone at the back of the crowd. You are the only thing between Arwa and Azza and the scuffle at the foot of the stage. What are you doing?
Shield and sword. He looks at them. I think we could talk about this.
It's going to be a DC 20 persuasion check with disadvantage to try to de-escalate.
Yeah, that's gonna be I got to 15. I tried. I really tried.
So, Connor, you begin saying... What do you begin saying to them?
Hey, we could talk about this. This doesn't have to blow out proportion here.
Arwa's eyes lock with yours. You find yourself in a rock garden. You see stones of various shapes, textures, colors, and next to you, you see Arwa, but she's not smiling at you. She's staring at you intently, and she says, "Stay here. Give me a DC 12 Constitution saving throw."
Hey, I'm proficient in that. 20.
Okay. You find the force of will to resist. After shaking your head, find yourself standing where you were a moment ago. She growls and runs up to you. She has a short sword in her hand, and she stabs at you with it twice.
Oh.
Does a 17 hit?
17 hits.
Okay. That's going to be 2 successful stabs on you.
Ah.
I thought you guys had something.
I thought I did too.
That's going to be 26 damage, mixed, piercing, and poison.
I'm down
Okay.
immediately. I'm now -1.
Connor, you fall to the ground. You are fading in between reality and the world beyond. The darkness, you sense it at the edges, but you're fighting it. And then you feel something slam into your chest.
Just like groans.
Azza, the rest of you see, has ran across the clearing and bashed Connor to the ground. You take a death saving fail.
Oh.
Very rude.
Lee, you just aimed your catalyst at Aaliyah,
Yep.
spun the dial, and shot a beam of ice out at her, and she sidestepped it. The little cylinder in her hand, currently pointed at Kato, begins moving toward you, but stops halfway. She clicks the trigger, and a massive ball of flame erupts from it. Each of you, give me a DC 15 dexterity saving throw.
That ain't good. I got an 18.
7.
Kato, you're going to fail that. Lee, you're going to succeed, which means you take half of this damage. Lee, you're going to take 12 fire damage. And Kato, you're going to take 24.
Oh.
Ow.
Yeah, how you doing over there, bud?
Not good. I'm up, though.
Kato, you feel like you just got burned to a crisp.
Okay, at the end of her turn, I would like to react and invoke a stone on my hammer.
Okay.
She will need to make a wisdom saving D12. This is to be charmed.
That's a 15 on the die.
All right, nothing happens.
It's your turn.
I, as a bonus action, would like to invoke my Giant's Might. I grow a size, and I'm now large, along with all of my equipment. And I have advantage on strength checks and strength saving throws, and I can deal additional damage. With that ability, I would like to swing my hammer two-handed at Aila.
Okay. Aaliyah's eyes widen as this happens, and she sees your hammer coming down at her. What's your attack roll?
Is an 11?
An 11 is not going to hit, unfortunately.
Oh, God. All right, pass turn.
Lee, you're up.
It's not great out here. I really would like to help Connor out.
Connor lays on the ground 30 feet away from you.
Yeah, I'd really like to help him out.
Okay.
Not a lot I can do, but I am going to kind of keeping the catalyst in my hand, but I'm just using the tip of it to like bang a beat on the drum. I'm going to try to hit Aila in front of me with Shocking Grasp, again using the catalyst. It is a touch, so I actually have to get right up next to her. I have advantage on the attack roll if the target is wearing armor made of metal, so I'm going to roll this twice.
So you use your catalyst to enchant your hand with electrical magic, and then you reach out to grasp her.
Yes, I got an 18.
18. You just barely touch the elbow of her armor and send a stream of electricity from your finger into her.
Thank goodness. Okay, she is going to take 2 damage, which is not a lot, but she can't take reactions until the start of her next turn, so I'm going to move towards Connor from where I'm standing with her.
Okay, because you have disabled her reactions, she is not able to make an attack of opportunity. You begin running across the clearing towards Connor and also Arwa and Naza.
Okay, that's a cantrip. I'm also going to cast Shadow Blade, since it's sunset, right?
Yes, it is sunset.
I weave together threads of shadow to create a sword of solidified glue in my hand. It's a 1 bonus action. It's a concentration spell of 1 minute. This counts as a simple melee weapon with which I'm proficient. On hit, it'll deal 2d8 psychic damage, and I can... when I use the sword to attack a target that is in dim light or darkness, I make the attack roll with advantage. It's got some other cool stuff in there.
As you are running across the clearing, you use the catalyst to give yourself a blade of dark gloom in your offhand. And you're running toward Connor, Azza, and Arwa. Do you get within their range, or are you staying out of range?
I didn't know if I could make it, but I'm probably going to stay just a touch out of range. I kind of would like to be... How far away is Connor from us?
30 feet.
Shit. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna get next to him.
Okay, you run up next to Connor. You're now within range of Azza and Arwa. Aila, you're up next. What are you doing? You're standing on the stage, combating with Aila. You have Kato next to your side. Lee has just run across the clearing away from you.
So I'm going to swing at Aila. I'm going to swing my quarterstaff at her.
All right, make your attack.
It sucks. It's a 12.
It's 12. That does not hit, unfortunately.
Yeah, I used up all my good rolls already. As a bonus action, I'm going to cast Healing Word at Connor. So Kato had a decent amount of damage. Maybe I should use it on him.
Connor's like, I need a healer.
Yeah, I'm going to cast, I can turn back and at least cast Healing Word. It's a bonus action. It gives him a D4 plus my spellcasting modifier. That was another bad roll. 6.
Connor, you spring back to life with 6 health.
Hey, we match.
He's just like, how did you get hit?
My clothes are singed. My wig is burning off.
Connor, it's your turn. What do you want to do? You're currently on the ground, so you need to stand up.
I guess I'll use my movement to half my movement to stand up, right? It's half movement?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, that angered me.
Getting your bearings, you realize you've got Lee on your side, and you've got Arwa and Azza right in front of you, weapons bared.
Well, time to go all out.
What's it take for you to summon Ruby?
It's an action.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, use the spell slot too. It's kind of better to have her out like immediately, like before the fight, than do it during mid-fight.
That's alright. I almost wonder if you summoned her, if an assassin would come out and just fucking murk you anyway.
Yeah, at this rate.
Like if somebody's been waiting the whole time.
There you are! Just when I do it.
Yeah.
So,
finally.
Connor, I should add, at the beginning of your turn, Arwa's eyes are on you again. You feel them. You can avert your gaze, but it will mean that you will take disadvantage if you try to attack her.
I'm not going to attack her. I'm going to attack the other one. I'm going to use a bonus action, a Hunter's Mark, the other one.
Okay.
And then I'm going to take my sword and swing.
All right, make your attack against Azza.
Okay. 16 to hit, plus
Okay,
my strength
that
of
hits.
5. Okay.
Does just for my clarification here, does Aaliyah have the best armor on?
Yeah, I think context clues wise, it does not seem like the armor quality between Aaliyah and Azza differs that much. They're both issued standard gear.
Okay.
Connor, what's the damage?
Damage is going to be 12.
12 damage. All right.
Damn.
You managed to give her a good slice across the arm. Anything else on your turn?
That'd be it. Oh, actually, no. I'm going to second wind.
Good idea.
That's it. I need to get my health back.
It's a good idea. Arwa dashes around Connor toward Lee, and she stabs at you. She's going to make 2 attacks with her short sword.
That ain't good.
That is a 14 to hit,
Oh, that hits. So close, but it does hit.
and a natural 1 on the second one.
That one misses.
7 piercing damage,
Fuck.
and you feel poison seep into your veins, and you take 6 poison damage.
That sucks. The 7 piercing damage would be enough to knock me unconscious, which is so unfortunate. That's alright.
You begin swaying and fall to the ground.
And my freaking sword of shadows disappears.
Damn, was it a cool image, though? The sun throwing shadows across the twilight landscape and into a shadow blade.
Would have been cool as fuck.
Pretty anime.
Connor, Azza screams at you. You see resentment, anger, and betrayal behind her eyes. She lifts her axe and is swinging it without a care in the world about what damage may be coming her way because of that. She's going to attack with advantage.
Uh-oh.
And that's a natural 20.
I'm just gonna be crushed
Connor's
here.
our guinea pig here to find out if he dies, then the day restarts again. We learned nothing.
We learned nothing.
So that's going to be 4d12 plus 4 coming your way.
Maybe he just rolls ones. Maybe he just gets ones. All ones.
That's going to be 28 slash.
That just insta-kills me. I might have 11 health.
So you also fall to the ground unconscious. Aaliyah takes the flamethrower in her hand and slams it back on a Krifazine tank on her hip, trying to refuel it. She gets it first try. She whips it forward, and Kato, it's pointed directly at you. Give me DC 15 dexterity saving throw.
That is a 9.
That is a failure. So you're going to take 7d6.
How many tanks does she have on her belt?
It is a single tank. It's a standard issue Krifazine tank that can refill fuel enough to get most people through the day. That's going to be 16 damage coming your way.
I grip my teeth, I fall to my knee, but because of the relentless endurance we homebrewed, I stay up with 1 HP.
Nice. It's your turn.
Push her into the spring.
I say, now you fucked up. And kind of sounded like Matt Berry there. Now you fucked up!
And now you fucked up.
I am going to second wind first. I mean, I don't think it'll make that much of a difference, but that is 8 HP back to me for a total of 9.
Okay.
And then I'm going to... So I will just take another swing at her. That is a 21 to hit.
21 hits.
It didn't. I was going to be so mad at you. Alright, when I hit a creature with an attack using a weapon, you can invoke the rune to summon fiery shackles. I'm going to invoke my fire rune. Please make a strength saving throw while I roll damage.
Ooh, that's a 3 on the die.
Look at that. Alright, that is 18 damage with all of the bonuses I have, and she is restrained for 1 minute, but can make a saving throw at the end of each of her turns. She has fiery shackles that form around her wrists.
God damn, you're putting in work.
She takes 2d6 damage at the start of each of her turns.
Chains of flame appear around her wrist and shackle her to the ground. She struggles against them, but is unable to make herself free.
The way I imagine these chains sort of flying up and wrapping around her is that guy that turns out to not be important in Iron Man 3 spoilers with like the whips on the on the racetrack. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, that's in Iron Man 2, right? Yeah.
Whichever one has
If you haven't watched that movie,
Mickey
I'm
Rourke.
just disappointed in you now. It's been a while.
Oh, is it Mickey Rourke? Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Lee, you also find yourself fading between this life and what you hope is the next. Darkness is pressing in at the periphery, but you're holding it back at the moment. What is the first thing you think of?
Lee thinks of his uncle, and if he was any more conscious, he would be a little bit inconsolable about how poorly he's executed his mission.
Give me a death saving throw.
It is a 19. 1 success.
Aila, you, for a moment, are able to look back and check on your comrades behind you, and they're both down. Ahead of you, Kato seems to be on his last leg. What are you doing?
I have one cure wound spell I could cast, but I don't know if I'd be able to get it even if you got me up.
My first thought is, why did I not do this first? And I go ahead and use my channel divinity, because if somebody does get up, at least they can get some temporary hit points.
Can you describe what that looks like?
It is I grab my amulet around my neck, and this soothing light just emanates out from it, a radius 30 feet from me. And it's in a circle, and there's this real dim light, but it feels warm to the people that I want it to want to help with this. Whenever they end their turn, I can roll a d6 and give them a d6 plus my cleric level to temporary hit points, not hit points, but temporary hit points. So if we can at least get to that point, they can come back, have those to fight with. As a bonus action, I'm going to cast Spiritual Weapon, which does allow me to, when I cast the spell, to make a melee attack against a creature within 5 feet of me, 5 feet of the weapon. So that's a bonus action.
Go ahead, make your attack.
22.
22 hits.
They take force damage equal to a d8 plus my spellcasting modifier. 13 damage.
Aaliyah winces in pain as the weapon. What form does it take?
I think it takes the form of a hammer, ice pick that I used to use when I was a child. My dad always had, so it's really sharp and pointy on one end, and just has a very blunt end on the other side.
So you hit her with a blunt side, and she winces in pain as it strikes her. Connor, you're back in this place. What is the first thing that you think of as you're between life and death?
Probably Ruby, because I'm just like, new friend, and now it's just going all over again.
Give me a death saving throw.
15.
15, that's a success. Aila, you turn back to see if your friends have by chance regained themselves. And what you see is Arwa and Azza are both going off to finish Lee. First, Arwa stabs with her short sword twice, both times with advantage because you are prone.
It's got murderous very quickly.
That's a nat 20, so that's immediately 2 death-failing saves. The second one misses.
Wow.
Azza raises her axe above her head and attempts to bring it down on you.
Be funny if she missed. I don't think she's gonna miss, though.
That is an 18 to hit.
Yeah, that does it.
You feel the axe sink into your chest, and the blackness on the perimeter begins to fade in. Kato, you see Aaliyah moves to strike you. You see blackness on the perimeter beginning to fade in toward you. Give me an insight check.
15.
15, you don't gain any deeper insight here. She
Guys, I've caught the vapors.
She drops her flamethrower and grabs a short sword from her belt. She's gonna attack you twice with her long sword and once with her short sword. It's a natural 1. That's a natural 2. Shout out to the 2 crew. And 7 plus 5 for 12. Does not hit. What are you doing in response? The blackness has moved in slightly closer.
Hey, you killed my friend! And I'm gonna go into a frenzy. So I go into a rage, and I may make a reckless attack as your attack during your turn. If you do, you may take another attack as a bonus action, which I'm going to do on her. 17 to hit with the first attack.
That misses.
Oh, wow. This fancy pants here. Wow, I rolled 3 12s in a row. So another 17.
Damn.
Okay. The blackness presses in ever closer. Lee, you are on the ground. What is the last thing that you think about?
I should have killed that old lady.
Straight up, I'm having a hard time thinking of anything else.
All right, we'll leave it at that.
I think Lee is like straight up. I don't think he has a lot of hope because he is dying and panicking. And you know, he's probably been knocked unconscious a couple times in training, but he's never been killed. So I don't think he's really considering the idea that we might come back from this. And he's like, I should have killed Lynn when I had the chance.
Yeah, that last thought is just like, man, it all was shit in the end. Right?
Was all for fucking nothing.
Aila, the darkness has begun to press in. It's moving at a good clip toward you right now. You think you have one thing that you could do right before it gets there. What are you doing?
I'm going to grab that basket and rip it out of her fucking hands.
Hell yeah! I like it. Okay, that's going to be a contested strength check. Contested athletics, I should say. You're going to be rolling athletics. She has the option to roll athletics or acrobatics. She's going to be rolling athletics.
14.
14. She gets a 17. Aaliyah keeps the basket tucked under her arm and resists your efforts. Anything else on your turn?
I'm going to hang on to the basket until she makes me turn loose of it, and I'm going to kick her in the knee. Side of the knee. Just wedge on it again.
That's an unarmed strike. Go for it.
It's a 17.
17 does not hit. She sidesteps it, keeps her arm on the basket, and says, "You'll have to kill me to take it from me." That is the last thing you see before the darkness closes in on you. And that is where we'll end our session.
Dying on the floor.
Guys, I've gone vasovagal. I'm passing out.
You sweating? Breaking a little sweat there.
This is what happens to me when I get my pupils dilated at the eye doctor. I just pass out.
Oh shit.
I ate shit the last time I was in an optometrist. It was quite fun.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was a brick lobby too. I was trying to go to the bathroom to like not weird out my optometrist, and then I just fucking fell over.
Damn.
You know who didn't fall over? Aaliyah.
No, she did not.
No.
So I think that might have been a zone we weren't supposed to go to. Yeah.
No, I think they definitely were like, they were probably gonna fight us no matter what, unless we sided with Nadir. Nadim, my bad. Now that I know it could go down like that, though, a lot of my spells are buffs. Like, I could just start buffing the shit out of somebody before we go in.
I'm not much of a glass cannon. I'm sort of like a 2-shot, and then I'm out of things to do. So if we want to, like, you know, crack everything all at once and go alt mode, then I'm cool with that combo.
I do think we could throw her into the spring.
Something tells me we have to go to the pyramid.
Maybe we can try that next.
Well, evidently we're not supposed to be here.
Why do you assume that you're not all just dead?
I know, that's the thing. I think we can come back tomorrow and we're like...
Echoes of Malus, episode 4, the final one.
Let's stop recording.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Echoes of Malus is created and DM'd by Jake Parsley. Connor is played by Justin White. Lee is played by Anthony Mott. Aila is played by Annabeth Parsley. Kato is played by Drake D. White. Additional writing and combat design are provided by Zachary Cox. Our audio editor is Drake D. White. Our music is by Public Circuit. And our concept art is by EternalGem. Your producer is me, Leanne Jay. We'll see you next time.